Welcome, dreamers, to another Friday video. We hope everyone's week went amazing and that you're looking forward to today's topic. We've been covering a lot of building recently, so today we're going to be focusing again on terraforming. In a previous video, we were able to make floating builds in DreamWorld. We were able to do that two ways. The first was building up to where we wanted to build, and the other was flying up to where we wanted to build, because remember, to build in the air in DreamWorld, you don't have to be tethered to the ground. Today, we'll be looking at another way to go about building things in the sky. However, before we talk more about that, a couple of announcements I want to talk about. Reminder that DreamWorld is in early access. If you go down to the description, you'll find a link to DreamWorld's website where you can get the free trial for the game to play, and then if you like what you play and like what you see in today's video, feel free to buy the game. Again, all that at DreamWorld's website, link in the description. Another advantage to getting and playing the trial is that DreamWorld is currently having a raffle, a Halloween raffle giveaway. Any player that downloads and completes DreamWorld's free trial will be eligible to enter the giveaway. Along with the free trial raffle, there's also going to be a Halloween building competition. Participants of that will also have a chance to win. All that being said, let's now talk about what we're going to be building in the sky today. Today, we'll be making a farm in the sky. We'll go over how terraforming to build in the sky works a little bit differently than just building with build pieces. So let's get right to building our floating farm in DreamWorld. Alright, dreamers, let's go over some of the materials we're going to need to complete this build. First of all, we need smelted white crystal in case we gotta fly around and, get to some tricky angles of, building the farm we're gonna be making. We have plenty of those, though, already smelted, so we're good on that. We're also gonna need plenty of grass. This is the material that's gonna allow us to terraform, a pillar that goes up into the sky, which is what we're gonna be able to build our farm off of. And we're also gonna need a couple shovels because that's gonna allow the terraforming to go much quicker, and it's also gonna allow us to till the ground once we have the island, planned out. We'll see that later. I'm kind of low on grass though, so I'm gonna have to farm a lot of it. I'm just gonna find this open field right here, and we're gonna go to town with our shovel. I'm gonna be using a stone shovel, and I'm also gonna have a couple wooden shovels in reserve. Now, to farm grass, just make sure your cursor is actually hovering over the, top layer of ground that, shows grass. And you should be able to get it. While we're farming though, let's talk about what the plan is for this build. We've already constructed a small farm behind our base in a previous video. However, that one still doesn't have a ton of room. Like, for example, I can't really build a ton of trees there. I can, I have the pillars that I built that I had all the birch trees on, when we did the farming video in the past. However, I want a more unique farm that, isn't really on other bases. I also want to make sure that this farm is not going to be, open to the public, that only I, with my smelted white crystals, can fly up to. All my crops will be completely safe in the sky, which is one reason why I'm, building my farm up in the air, but the other reason is just I want to play with terraforming and be creative. And since we're building up so high in the sky, I want to make sure that I have plenty of grass, which is why I'm doing so much digging here. But I think we have just about enough grass. We have between, 1,000 or 2,000 grass. That should be enough for what we need to do. We're not going to be making a massive island here, just, a little tiny island. Now that we have everything we need, though, I'm going to start with constructing the pillar that's going to go up into the sky. This is going to be made up of grass, and it's going to just be an earthen pillar. Two ways you could build up is you could stand on top of the pillar and just put material below you, but you could also, and this is what I had to do, is use smelted white crystal to build the tower up. As you build the pillar upwards, the, top of it's not going to be completely perfectly flat to stand on, so you might slip off of it. And because I don't want to die to fall damage, I'm going to, fly in order to make it much easier to construct the pillar without having to worry about dying. Okay, I think this is a good enough height for the build, though. Let's now build 4 horizontal pillars going outwards from the vertical one we have here. This is gonna give us a basis to, fill in the island we're gonna build in the sky. Also, take notice how I'm using a shovel to do this terraforming. If I used my hands, it would take a lot longer. I highly recommend you use an iron or better shovel, honestly, for this. I'm using a stone one, but honestly, iron or crystal shovel is the way to go. You'll notice that I'm gonna be continuously checking the length of each of these, columns to make sure they're about the same length. I want the island to be somewhat symmetrical. It's not gonna be perfect, but I want it to be as close to perfect as possible. All right, there we go. We have 4 different, horizontal pillars or columns made of earth that we can now build off of to make a full island. Essentially, what we're gonna do here is we're going to build earth off of the ends of each of these, columns and connect them at their, the tips. And this will allow us to go from the outside and fill inwards to the center of the floating island. I'm also gonna try my best to make sure that I keep the island as level as possible. It's gonna be very tricky just because I'm gonna be flying while doing the terraforming. So some parts of the island are gonna be taller than others, but we're gonna fix that later on by tilling the ground. I'm also gonna make sure as I go through the build that I patch up holes from both the top and bottom of the island. This way, when I till the island later, it's not gonna re-expose those holes. I want the earth of the island to be nice and thick. This will give me some leeway to, flatten out the ground and take some of it away. Now, as we're building, take notice, I took a bit of a break in my building, and when I came back, some things actually spawned on my island. Some trees, some flint, some sticks. So just keep that in mind when you're building any, floating islands in DreamWorld. Again, just want to reiterate that it's important that I also patch up holes from the bottom, not just the top. I want to make sure the ground of the island is as secure as possible. All right, there we go. We have a completely finished island. However, it's very bumpy and it's very, uneven and imperfect. Now, this is obviously my fault for not making sure that I was doing everything level. However, not to fear, we have 2 ways of fixing this. Using my bare hands, I can pick up material to make minor adjustments to the leveling of the ground. This is going to be most effective here because I don't want to take too much material away from the ground of the island because that might expose any holes and I have to patch them up again. The other thing we're going to do is use our shovel to till the ground. To do this, we click the left and right mouse button at the same time, which will flatten the ground down to the level which we're standing at. This is going to be a rather long process. It'll take us, a little while to do, but it's going to be worth it because it'll make the island, basically all on the same level. We won't make it completely perfect. That would take us a rather long time, but we'll get it as close as possible. Okay, so this is how the island looks right now. Again, it's not perfectly flat, but this is, flat enough where I can actually build on it and not have to worry about the leveling of all my build pieces. I can definitely work with this and get a farm build going. I also just want to show real quick how, while you can climb up to the top of the pillar that leads to this island, you won't actually be able to get on the island by climbing. Now, this is by design because I want this to be a nice, safe, and secure island that, only I can fly onto. Other people can fly onto it too, but my point is it's a lot more secure than just putting my farm on the ground. Now, to prep the island for farming, I'm going to get rid of all the materials that were, spawned onto the island. And I'm also going to make some last-minute adjustments to the ground to make it super flat and as perfect as possible. To start off building the farm, we're going to use oak wood fencing. That's going to make 4 little enclosures of what I'm going to build around this area. Each enclosure is going to have a different type of item I'm going to farm, so let's get right to building them. I'm going to make sure to make an open entrance to each one of these enclosures and to also put a pathway in the center to navigate, to each one of them. I can be able to access all of them via one path. I'm also going to make sure to wrap the fencing around the edges of the island too. I don't want to accidentally fall off the island while farming, so let's actually get the edges of the farm completely sealed off as well. Okay, we have our finished enclosure. You know, all the enclosures aren't exactly the same size. We were able to get 4 areas to place farming down. To start off, we're gonna place our blue and red berry bushes. We're gonna have 1 enclosure for them. Next, we're gonna place wheat. We have a ton of wheat seeds, so we're gonna make sure to place those up here in one of the bigger enclosures. I then have quite a few waxroot seeds, so I'm gonna place those down to farm some waxroot. I have the seeds and I might as well plant them somewhere. And lastly, we're gonna put some tree seeds down. Now the conifer trees were a little bit too big to build up here, so I just used oak seeds, so I'm gonna grow oak trees up here. But luckily I was able to fit 1 conifer tree in up here. Now lastly, let's put some lighting up here. I'm gonna use birchwood torches. I love the lighting of birchwood. It's very bright and very good for, you know, seeing things very clearly at night. So birchwood and birch seeds, honestly my favorite materials to use for torches. Nice and bright. Well, there you go. We did it. We built a floating farm build in the skies of DreamWorld. Our crops are now safe and secure on an enclosed island in the sky. It can be seen far and wide. It's a cool view above my bases that I constructed below. But this is just one of the ideas that you can actually make in DreamWorld that utilizes terraforming. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to see videos in the future similar to this one. If you want to try DreamWorld out, again, there's a link in the description that'll send you to DreamWorld's website where you can get the free trial to try the game for yourself, or you can buy the game. And remember, if you try that free trial and complete it, you'll be, you know, eligible to enter the Halloween raffle. But thank you again, Dreamers, for watching. Have an amazing Friday, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.